I'll lock that. Okay, so there we go. All right, thanks everybody for joining us today for our Zoom on goalkeeping with my friend Vincent Tuffier. Vincent, as we kind of mentioned, and you'll probably, if you're watching this from our website, you'll see a little bit more about Vincent. Like I mentioned in the email, he's a humble person, but he's also a very qualified person. And I'm speaking from my own opinion and experience here, but Vincent truly is one of the absolute best goalkeeper coaches that I've met that works with younger goalkeepers. He's laughing like it's not true, but I've worked with a lot of great goalkeepers over the years and some great coaches as well. And the things that I enjoy most that I get to see when I watch Vincent coach is how much he pays attention to detail, his passion for, the craft of goalkeeping, the way that he cares about his players. I could go on and on. He's learned from, been to some great workshops. He's working on, obviously, continuing to work on his own education. It's a never-ending process, but I think for all of our rising star families, the goalkeepers that we have in the program now and the ones that are watching this in the future, I think there's a lot to learn from Vincent. There are a lot of great coaches out there, obviously, besides him. But I really like his approach, and that's why I invited him to talk to us today. So I hope that you guys find a lot of value in this. And Vincent, I'm going to kick it over to you to share your screen and present to us. I won't talk too much more, hopefully, but I'll jump in when I need or have a question. But without too much further ado, I would like to open it to you. Thank you for being here, and let us know, in your experience, what makes a great goalkeeper.
Yes. Hi, Jason. Thanks for the introduction. It was quite nice to hear. But it's all about sharing, of course. That's why we met at the beginning, remember? And we will talk about goalkeeping today. That's definitely an area where I really like to work with young goalkeepers, like to work with coaches. And so when you ask me to do this together, you ask me first, in your experience, what are the qualities for a great goalkeeper? So obviously in this video, we won't talk about Manuel Neuer and the best. For sure, the best answer to your question is of course, you need everything. You need everything, foot, height, jump, genetics, environment. Of course, great goalkeepers comes with all package. So definitely we will talk about young people, young athlete, and the way they can help to develop, since you asked me that. And of course, knowing that it's a process, it's something that evolves, and some athletes sometimes develop at age 16, 17. Some others are great already at 11. So all that period between 10 and 18 years old, it's like a big maelstrom of a lot of things that can happen. And maybe I can help to figure it out a little bit and get organized a little bit between those years. So let's start with what I have for you. And let's go. Okay, let's do this. So, okay. Qualities of great goalkeepers. So for me, the first is commitment. No doubt about it. Definitely there is a lot of point of view in the world on what is a great goalkeeper. But if we talk about an athlete in general, commitment is, for me, the first thing that comes to my mind. And definitely the first thing that I look in the eyes of the young goalkeepers. When I say goalkeepers, let's say that we talk about the age between 10 and 16, 17. Okay, so that's what I want to see. The way they come to the field, the way they talk to me, the way they talk about soccer, the way they are when they prepare for exercise, and the commitment. Because there is nothing you can do without commitment. If the kid is here but you don't want to play soccer, or he's pushing the back with the parents and everything, let's forget about it. It can be real gifted, but if you want to do violin in the instance, what can you do? So the first quality for a great goalkeeper is commitment, and I would say also at all age and all level. And we saw that with the professional, at some point they get tired of it. We saw it every sports, and if the commitment suddenly goes away, even with professional players, we lose everything. What can you do? Okay, so obviously for us, it's commitment versus age. So you cannot ask a kid of 11 years old to have the same commitment as someone at 18 or 25, because the maturity is not the same. And fortunately for them, there are things that you learn with the time. You cannot learn all the thing at, before 10 years old. It would be a lot of stuff. So yeah, commitment, what it is, for example, at U8, U10, well, just the way they listen, the way they try things, If you have a kid that is not really gifted, but have a lot of energy and listen to you, and you say, okay, well, we can do things for him, it will be fun to follow him for a few years, definitely. At 11, between 11 and 14, it's all average, okay? Yes, we want them to listen, to try, but also to show us they want to understand a little bit more. They want to feel stuff inside their body, try to master specific patterns. If they do wrong, they want to understand why. When we talk about tactics, they definitely try again. And we will talk about it in a few minutes. But the commitment, it's, that inner will that the keeper, the athlete, has to try things and try to develop by itself. And after 15, I'll say 15, around 15, because it's definitely a critical part of the development of human being around 15, 16, 17, And usually after 15, I always ask myself when I meet a goalkeeper, like, did he want to go on? Did he want to do that again and train again? Because, we know a lot of goalkeepers at this age that already have like 7-8 years of soccer behind them. And sometimes it's a lot, sometimes it's too much, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. And sometimes we see that in their eyes. They still like the sports. Definitely, they like the friends, but it's hard for them to admit that they don't have the passion. And it's hard to have a great goalkeeper if you don't have the passion anymore. You like the soccer, but for fun. They are at one spot in their life where they want to do other things, sometimes other sports, or sometimes they want to give up competition. So at 15, 16, 17, it's always the deal that did that goalkeeper want to go on, want to pursue, the competition and still strive every day to be the best. And of course, qualities for great goalkeepers come with the entourage, what kind of people or environment he has around him. We talk about the social environment, family, friends, coaches, of course, and it's really important. It's those things that are on that slide of PowerPoint. It's those things are for me the most important thing when you talk about a great goalkeeper at young age. Without that, it's really hard to build something, even if you are gifted or physically gifted, So the evaluation of the athlete, when we talk about great means that you evaluate something. You're able to say is great or is not great, or is okay great. And so evaluating, it's not an easy thing. And for me, I really like the example of the FA, the Federation of the English Federation. They call it the Federation, the Football Association in England. Well, I got it. The FA, they do a great job on education for coaches, and they have specific education for scouting, especially scouting with, of course, young people, young athletes. So they call it the 4 corners, and the 4 corners are two first are first not in priority, just there are 4 of them. So I come with, they make technical and tactical aspects all together. Most of people usually evaluate athlete by the technical, tactical, mental, and physical. You see, so that's interesting because they put technical and tactical together as one. Then they put the physical, and all together also they put the psychological aspect and the social. So it means that 50% of their evaluation of young athletes to see if they have potential are based on psychological and social item matters, of the kid. So it's not only of gift and physique and powers and how hard you kick or how you jump, you see. 50% it's psychological and social. So they want to see if the kid, the way, for example, he behaves with peers, the way he behaves when he lose, the way, the way he is in the group, and the way he reacts with anger or whatever, and so that's really important for them. And I definitely believe in that. The technical, tactical, physical, how it is, it develops sometimes irregularly, and it's hard to tell at 10 years old that technically will be there. Sometimes they are really gifted and suddenly they're the growth spurt and they lose everything. It's hard.
So
yeah,
Vincent, to that point, with goalkeepers specifically, I've found a lot of the best goalkeepers that I've worked with that I've known since they were like 10 years old, and then saw them progress until they were in college. Some of them really, like you say, to the technical and physical aspect, they really didn't have those dimensions until much later in their teenage years. I noticed when they're 10 and 11, some of the goalkeepers that I've seen, that I've worked with, maybe they end up being, 6 foot tall or taller. They might have been shorter when they were younger, or they might not have been, always wanting to be a goalkeeper at the time. So I would let them kind of play in goal and play on the field, and, because they're only 10 or 11, you know what I mean? So those are really good points for all you goalkeepers out there. If you are younger, or if you're older, maybe you're 15 and you weren't always the best athlete, or you weren't always when you were 12 or 13. Look, put that out of your mind, and understand that you have these qualities now, and it doesn't really matter where you were then. It's about kind of where you are now. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, totally. Actually, I was about to talk about it, but just pay attention to the way just the super draft, for soccer, NBA, NHL, the way they put the players on the ranking, the way they evaluate them, and how much they made mistake every year. It's really hard, it's really hard. We'll always remember the example of Tom Brady, who was drafted like at 33rd spot, and that means that, if you're out there and have doubts about you and technique, tactic, physique, yes, work hard, have the commitment. If you have the commitment, a lot of good stuff can happen. And have a good environment. Good environment doesn't mean having the perfect family. Sometimes you just have a grandfather with you have a good relation with. Sometimes it's friends, but you need to have resources, coaches, people you can talk about, ask questions. Yeah, definitely. And I was about to talk about that specific problem of age, because you have the chronological age, that's your date of birth. You have the biological age, and that talk about the growth spurts. But more specifically, we talk about the PHV, the peak high velocity we call. That's the moment where the body grows up very fast. It's like for the girls it's like between 9 and 12, and the boys between 11 and 14. I remember, I think, and it lasts like 20, 36 months, and sometimes you have it. So you can be chronological age somewhere and the biological age at another spot. You have the relative age. That's the age for the administration. Like the school start at September 11. Too bad you're born like October 1st or August 31. So it has a lot of importance, because teams are built like on a model like this. So you can be in one category that you don't fit physically, because of the relative age, because of the administration. They have to point at some point, start the calendar. And also you have the sports age. Sports age, it's the how long, since how long you do soccer, for example. So with those 4 category of age, you can do different kind of mix. So you can have a goalkeeper who is 14 years old, started soccer like 1 year ago, and play in the good category for his relative age. But the biological age, for example, is very tall, very powerful. But 3 years before, he was not there. And since he's 14 years old, he's more mature, he learned very fast. And at 18, he's a very powerful goalkeeper and great goalkeeper, but nobody saw him because when you scout, usually you scout, between 10 and 13 years old. That's what happens a lot of time. We have a lot of problem, in many countries for that. At 18 years old, there is a great goalkeeper that comes and you say, where was he? He quits basketball at 15 and suddenly start being a goalkeeper. Well, basketball players make great goalkeepers and suddenly bang. So that's why scouting needs to be done with that in mind. And if you're a goalkeeper out there and you're all, at some wrong place in chronological, biological age, don't forget that it's a lot of things that happen in the same time between those age of teenage, and who knows what will comes out of here. And once again, if you have the commitment, nothing is done. There's so many options for everybody, for girls and boys, especially in the United States. Okay, let's go on. Once again, what is a great goalkeeper? So a little bit to sum up, I will say that first, great goalkeeper is someone that have a certain maturity emotionally. So if I scout, and scouting means you look for people you can build on, young athletes you can build on, and usually like the English Federation, teach, it's that we pay a lot of attention to emotion and the way they behave, the way they are with the peers, the way they respect or not respect people, and the way they talk, the way they look at you when we talk together, the way they behave when they do mistakes. Myself in particular, when I scout, I definitely put the goalkeepers in harder situations that they can have, so I see the way they behave when they do mistakes. It's one good thing I want to know before recruiting someone, what kind of temper, what kind of person it is. So I definitely want to know the psychological side, and usually great athletes have that kind of maturity a little bit earlier than others sometimes. Adequate social environment, we talk about it. Adequate training environment, we talk about it. And after that, technical, tactical, physical aspects, because it's irregular. It's hard to be sure about it. And because of age and everything we talk about it. But there is one thing when we talk about physical thing that is more than others, and that's I had education about it a lot at university, and still today, like 20 years after, I still believe in it, and I still the mentor I train or I learn about, still we're on the same page. It's coordination, So emotion, psychological things, you need to learn. We will talk about it in a few minutes. But coordination, when we talk about what can we do, especially now, we're all at home. What can we do? What can I train? What can I do? Coordination. Because if you have good coordination, you can build everything on it. Everything. It's not a joke, you can build everything. So now we'll talk about more specifically what is coordination. So it goes with commitment. You ask me how to train. Commitment comes with curiosity. Watch, listen, learn, try, repeat. If you have that kind of fire inside you, whatever you are at 11 or 15 or 20 years old, 35, as coach, as athlete, try to have resource in your community. The United Soccer Coach Association also have a great library online to learn stuff, and the importance of mentorship. Try to find people around you. So we will slowly comes, and the topic more specifically, the topic of knowing yourself as athlete, or knowing the athlete you train. Okay, so knowing yourself is it starts once again by how can you know if you're good at jumping or sprinting and everything. We talk about it. So what to train? coordination, we will go deeper in a few minutes. So feet, hand, body, high. So without ball, without anything, you know, can you walk properly? Can you follow something in space? It looks obvious, but when we talk about, you know, higher level competition stuff, suddenly it becomes very important to be quick, you know. And so functional strength. So functional strength, especially at younger age, it's important because you don't want to train muscle apart. You know, you want to train muscle in chain. You want to train. So like when a baby is doing 4 feet, he's training all the muscle all together, you know, because sports, it's all about that, you know. And at some point you will train specific pattern of movement, but at the beginning, before. And so when I have young goalkeepers, when I evaluate them, I definitely evaluate their basic coordination, you know, how they walk, how they run, how they're standing, you know, some of them standing not straight, you know, the back like this. It's really important, because how can I teach someone something if the basics are not there, you know, you understand? Flexibility, more on, with young people, it's more on dynamic stretching, ballistic training, you know, all the movement like this when you go in the maximum range of the joint, but with dynamic movement. What to train, so feet versus ball, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Hand versus ball, you know, handling is really important. The psychological aspects, as we say, are really important. First of all, you know, when we talk about goalkeepers, is dealing with mistakes, you know. That's one of the big thing I check, you know, how are you when you deal with mistakes, you know, how are you, you know. Sometimes the coach at the end of the training session decide to do a 3v3 session, a 3v3 game. So you have your goalkeepers, you know what it is, a 3v3, usually the score at the end, it's like 25-35. You know how it is, huh? So the goalkeepers like take 10 goals within 3 minutes. How do they react to that? You know, he start to get hungry, and suddenly the performance goes down because emotionally is frustrated, or is like, oh yeah, go again, I'll try, you know. That's really important. So always use professional help if you see that you have a problem, an issue with coping strategy. How do you cope, you know, with things that happen? You know, you play versus the first team of the you know, the championship, and they score like 10 goals per game, and you're the goalkeeper. And how do you you know, go to that game? What is your state of mind? Are you like, oh my God, we'll be like this? And so just before the game start, you're already let your teammate totally go, and you're not supportive and anything? Or you go to that game like saying, okay, that's a great game to learn a lot of stuff. That's a great game to train. That's a great game to try things, you know. Okay, that game, I know we'll probably lose, but I will try to be higher on the field, supporting my defense. I will try to defend a little bit better behind my line of defense. So we try to remove them chance to do 1v1 situation, you know. So coping strategy, and use professional help if needed. It's really important to have the professional help at some point. That's one of the multiple you know, figure for you know, showing that muscle chains. It's just an example, you know, to understand the importance of training on the functional way, not one muscle at a time. And it's really important for goalkeepers. So you and me, we share the same patterns. We know how to walk, we know how to run. But if you're a player play forward, and I'm a goalkeeper, when we train specifically, we don't train the same. We train the same chain, but not the same way. So, and functional training is that. So at higher level, they do that a lot. At other level, it depends on the coach education, you know, the staff, the time you have. But you know, when you're at home, you can do that. I will show you how. So let's start to the more slowly. We go slowly, Jason, in the more concrete stuff, you know.
No, this is great, man. I mean, this is all good information, and you know, I know we're going to get into some practical stuff people can do, but if you guys are watching this and you're thinking through like what Vincent was just explaining, like going into a tougher game where you may be under, you're probably going to be under more stress. You know, what are you focused on? How do you train your mindset? The best goalkeepers I've ever played on teams with or coached have a way of their own mentality sort of uplifting the team. But if you're negative and you're really upset that you're in a tough game, that also affects your team. So the goalkeeper is such an important part of everything about our team. I think at the younger ages, sometimes that gets lost because you guys, you younger goalkeepers out there, you might not be emotionally ready to really be a leader like the way you need to be, or you're not mature enough yet. But what Vincent is explaining on that side is just so valuable for you guys. And then the muscle chains, I know you're going to talk more about that, but that's huge because just like Vincent was explaining to us, one thing a forward would do and a goalkeeper would do in some ways are very similar, but in the way that you apply them to your position, in the way that you do them regularly, it might be very different. So the way you need to move as a goalkeeper, you need to be aware of that. You can't just train by yourself just like anyone else. You're playing a special position with special requirements. But Vincent, you're doing a great job, man. Thanks for sharing all this. I'll kick it back over to you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, to go deeper, we talk about psychological effect and the way you react, but more than that, if you are really gifted and you started to be noticed by national team program, for example, or high level D1 college, never forget that if you have poor skills on psychological and emotional, it can destroy everything like this. It's really important, guys, to work on your psychological and emotional patterns, to know how do you feel, because especially guys, we don't talk a lot about this. When we are teenager, we want to be strong. Sometimes we train physically to be bigger and we do mistakes, but emotionally, that's exactly the thing that happened to very gifted athletes that are around 16, 17, 18 years old, that are noticed by national team or professional levels, arrive at professional levels, and suddenly they crash because they were not ready, or they had a poor preparation to face the challenge, to face the challenge of a coach that don't have patience anymore. I always definitely believe, and I learned that in a seminar. I don't remember when, but I definitely believe that the only coaches that need to win are the national team coach and the MLS coaches, or Bundesliga coaches, the top coaches. The other coaches are here to develop people, not especially win. But national team, yeah, you need to win for sure. No patience anymore. And suddenly, coming from an area where coaches are listening to you, try to develop you, and suddenly being in that area where there's no patience anymore, and you need to adapt like within 15 minutes, not 3 weeks, 15 minutes. Yeah, it's really hard. So go ahead, guys, and ask for professional help on the psychological, emotional. It's really important. Okay, so what to train? Let's start with 3 assumptions. Okay, first is the goalkeeper like soccer and being a keeper. It seems obvious, but sometimes it's not. As we say, at all our age, suddenly things can change, and it's hard to admit sometimes. But let's assume that the goalkeeper likes soccer and he likes to be a keeper. Other assumption is that the basic coordination pattern are mastered. We'll talk about it. And the third is that the non-transferable skill have been introduced. So we will talk about that. But those 3 things are really important to build a great goalkeepers. Okay, it's 3 assumptions that needs to be there. If not, I will give you clues or way to work on it, but it's really important. Okay, what we will talk within the next minute are really, really important. Okay, so basic coordination patterns. Okay, we talk about what happened within the first years and even inside the uterus of the mother sometimes. Okay, so between 0 and 5 years old, we talk about crawling, which is really important for the core strength and the asymmetric patterns of arms and legs and hips. So asymmetric patterns, it's when you walk or when you sprint, or also when you push on one leg and make the stop with the other, with the left leg and the right arm, for example. So asymmetric patterns, your brain learns that when you crawl, okay? Switch inside, belly, back. Really important to develop our capacity to get quickly the space marker. For example, when you're on the belly, the environment is in one order, and when you're on the back, the environment is the opposite. So it's obvious, right? But how fast are you able to take the marker of the space, and so how fast are you able to organize yourself to get up? When you're, is that your right arm that is the best, or left leg and everything? So you learn that when you're baby. So when the baby switch side, belly back, he learns that. Okay, it's really very interesting. The forefeet is really interesting for the core, once again, core strength, and also the way we work, and we work on the flexibility of hips and strength of hip. So that's really important for the forefeet. And once again, the asymmetric patterns. When we walk, we don't use that much the flexibility of hip, but when we sprint, we use it a lot. You can picture when someone is sprinting, but imagine that the only moment when you work that when you're a kid, it's when you do the forefeet. Because once the kid is walking, how a young kid, like 1, 2 years old walk, he don't use the hip very much. It's more like something more a balance exercise and other things. So when you do the forefeet, you work on your strength, flexibility, and motor pattern of your hip. So it happens, and I will show you that. It happens that at 12 years old, you start to train with a young goalkeeper, and suddenly when he sprints for a 1v1, you notice that there is absolutely no flexibility to the hip. He runs almost like he was very stiff, like this. It's really hard for him to run and at the same time go down to the floor. So it happens sometimes that I make them do, at 12 years old, I give them exercise of forefeet, and there are many exercises to do, but yeah, sometimes it's never too late. Walking definitely is for balance, the fact that we are on two feet and the core strength once again. Jumping and landing is really important because there is a notion of balance in space when you jump. You cannot jump like in every position. You jump in a very specific position so you can be in balance in space and also in balance when you land. So you learn that at a young age, and some kids sometimes we start to do diving save and they have problem with jumping, and it comes from that period. Running also comes from 0 to 5 years old. Once again, it's the question of asymmetric positioning, and there is a lot to do with the time-space relation, because time-space relation is the notion of when you go faster, you have less time to take the info and react. So if you walk in your house and the corner of the table it comes slower than when you run. But are you able to see it and avoid it? So once again, we have great goalkeepers at 11, 12 years old. They're doing great diving save, great kicking, and great jump. And suddenly during a game, small-sided game, whatever, it's horrible. You have definitely all different person because they're not able to take the information with efficiency and to give response of it. And once again, all those things happen at young age. So yeah. The last thing is capacity to sit straight with straight back and maintain it. Once again, the capacity of the straight back, it's really important when you're an athlete, but goalkeeper is really important. So guys, if you have the habits to be like this, if we meet sometime, you'll see, you will learn to know me, the straight back and the capacity to maintain it. Okay, it's really important. You need to have a strong back. Okay, it's no joke. It's the core of everything you will teach of your body. So that was the basic coordination. If you have problem, solution, if you're a teenage, like you're 14, 15 years old, breakdance, parkour, climbing, all those sports are great to come back to those learning, you know. So once again, now the non-transferable skill, usually it's between 5 and 10 years old. It can be earlier, but usually before 5 it's more a reflex. So a kid can know how to ride a bike before 5, but usually it's more like a reflex situation. He's doing it very well, but it is not in a understanding process of what happened. So it's more what's happened between 5 and 10. So non-transferable mean that things that you cannot learn in one sport and transfer it in another one, like riding a bike, swimming, anything that have a specific relation to balance, like rollerblade, ice skating, skiing, anything that have a specific relation with hand-eye duo, like anything you catch, anything you throw, anything you hit, those are non-transferable. You cannot, like, for example, if you play soccer, when you do basketball, running, it's a transferable skill. Taking information, it's a transferable skill. Communication, it's a transferable skill. But catching the ball, if you don't learn it at some point in one sport, you won't be able to transfer it. So if you're a good swimmer, you cannot, when you swim, learn how to catch a ball. If you're a goalkeeper, it's good for you. Catching a ball is part of the training. So that's one good non-transferable skill that you learn. But it's good to know how to ride a bike, swimming, and balance. It's an introduction before 10. You just need an introduction. I don't ask you to be a professional, but at some point your brain will transfer things. For example, when you swim, it's different that when you dive or when you run. But when you swim, when you stay at the surface of the water, your legs and your hip do movement that will work the hip in all kind of orientation, range of movement. It's definitely different than when you run and your leg is just doing flexion, extension. That's it, So suddenly you're in a goal and you need to make a save in a weird position. So if you swim, your body will have experience of weird pattern. You see, so swimming is good at that. Riding a bike is different than, playing a game. But riding a bike means that you go faster than running. And if you go faster than running, you need to be quicker when you take information and have the capacity to integrate them, analyze, and give a response. Okay, it's the same when you learn to drive a car. It's crazy at the beginning. Everything goes so fast. So ride a bike will help you to take information and you can transfer it during a game. So those non-transferable skills are useful, and it's also interesting for your social life. When you're a teenager, to know how to swim, it's safe also. Okay. Once again, I use the 5, 10 years old. 10 years old, it's a time marker, but it's never too late. So if you think that you have problem with, your motricity, or you don't know how to swim, you're 14 years old, you don't know how to swim, it happens. Well, go ahead, learn to swim. It's really interesting. It will give you new tools. You'll see new strengths. It's good for strengths, swimming. Okay. So all those sports we talk about. Also, sometimes everybody agrees that we need to practice different sports. I'm the first to say that, but it doesn't mean you need to practice them on competitive point of view. It can be the streets, it can be at school, it can be, in the park. Don't imagine that I ask you to be at every sport, every night of the week, practicing sports. No, have fun. You can be involved in soccer, but swim sometime and play baseball in the park and, basketball in the street. That's great, but play different kind of thing. It's really important. So as I said, when the time comes to learn specific pattern, like a diving save, your brain will use those experience, and it would be really definitely easier. I can tell that when I meet a goalkeeper at 12 years old that's told me that I'm only a goalkeeper since 5 years old. I'm passionate. I love it. It's great. Good commitment. But I'm always concerned for his, coordination experience. And the first thing I say, look, usually we have problem with those kids because they don't know how to run. It's usually it's weird. I definitely have a red flag most of the time. I definitely like better, a kid that comes and play a lot of sports and is maybe 13, 14, and suddenly you say, okay, look, I'm very passionate. I want to be a goalkeeper. It's late, but I want to do. Usually I have high hope for that kid. Physical training, we hear a lot of stuff. There are a lot of stuff available. We have to be very careful. Definitely before and after the puberty, especially with boys, because they are an emotional, with the guys want to be, they want to be big and everything. They can injure themselves. So use professional help once again. It's really important. There are phases, the high peak velocity. It's really important to understand at some point that there are cue moment, in life of a teenager that we can do bad things. So use professional help for training. It's a good thing when we talk about great goalkeeper, great athlete, to have basic of nutrition and sleeping. Teenage, once again, things can happen. We can gain weight. We can be, weaker. We'd have bad habits of sleeping with social media and everything. So it's important if you want to be at your best to be aware of that. And place yourself in the right training environment. I know sometimes it's huge. If you are 11 years old, how do you do that? But use your parents, use your peer, use your coach. If you think that you're not well because the environment is not good, people are not good, or you're not satisfied with the level, it happens sometimes. It's not being arrogant. It's sometimes you can see it. You want to play higher level and everything. Place you in the right training environment. Ask coaches, ask parents. And because it's important as if you want to improve. Of course, be in the right coaching environment. Okay, guys. Training example. So we will have video in a few moments. Training example. So Jason asked me, can you give us example of training? So I won't tell you Monday you do dive, Tuesday you do runs, and Thursday you play with your foot. It's not this, There are so many things online, so many routines, so many exercise. You can have professional training session of goalkeepers, of course. You can have everything. But remember that the main question is, what do you need, or what do your goalkeeper need? What do you need? What do you need? And you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the fact that you're able to know that maybe your hands on high save are weak, or your right foot on long pass is weak. So try to, on a paper, try to find what are your weakness. If it's everything, look, it's everything. We have to start somewhere, okay? So it's never too late to work on basics. And saying that, I want to share you something and that I've done in the past with my young players. Do you see that, Jason?
Yep. Yeah, we see that.
Okay, good. So, as you see, it's not 8 years old goalkeepers, right? They are between 13 and 16. So they are old, okay? They are old to do that. They were looking at me like, Vincent, what the hell? Okay, what is happening? What's about that? Because I've noticing with that category at this moment that there were huge gap in their basic skills, basic coordination. So we made Back to the Future. We went in the past of their development, and we work again their basic coordination. I told you, jump, land, run.
Hey, Vincent, I'm sorry. Yeah. We can only see your files. We're not seeing a video. Is there a video playing on there?
Yeah. I think
That's all right.
That's okay. Let me. The screen I want to share is this one. Yeah, good point, Jason. Okay, is this one? Yeah, that's better.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, okay,
Sorry, that's
okay.
my fault too. I
No,
didn't.
no, no, no. You know, guys, it's the first time I do that with Zoom.
There
Okay,
you go.
so yeah, thank you, Jason. So as you see, they're not very young, and they jump on masters. You see, they jump both feet like they land. Okay, and I went to the local gymnastic club. I asked to meet with a professional trainer of gymnastic, and I explained them we have problem with basic coordination, and gymnastic coach are the best for that. You know, they know all the pattern because gymnastic is so demanding on coordination, and they work very young. So they work those patterns very, very young, younger than other sports. You know, specific to gymnastic. You know, you're at your best when you're young. So we've done that, you see. We've done basic coordination patterns. I show you. This one was jumping on both feet. I will switch. You see, falling on the belly, block like this, and standing up. And I hope there's not too much lag, but I noticed a little bit of lag. But try to take a look on how they standing up. And you notice that some of them, for some of them, it's harder. They are not that quick than others. Okay, falling on the belly and standing up. And I have another one here. Falling on the side, so more goalkeeper kind of patterns. How do you stand up? And once again, okay, and looking forward and diving. And I was looking at all the patterns, and I've done some analysis of all those patterns at home, and we talk about it with the kids after. And I will show you, okay, randomly other video I had. You see, they were laughing because it was weird for them to do that, you know. Like I will show you that jumping and, you know, working with the legs while jumping. So you jump, are you able to do something else when you jump? You know, it's so obvious, but you'll see in a moment like this, you know. And they were like very shy at the beginning, and you know, and there was other gymnast athlete in the back, so it was awkward a little bit for them. But you know, things like this. And what was that video? It was just, you know, like feeling the movement of the knee. You know, it was very, very basic coordination, things like this. Once again, it's never too late to work on basic coordination. And by the way, on that specific, I won't tell you who, but on that specific group, there is one goalkeeper who is on national team right now on U17, and other one that was had profile for that too. And so you see, it's something that you can do, and there's no shame to do basic training like this. You see, rolling on the side, you know, as we say, like the space marker. Where are you in the space? Are you able to have clue fast to come on your feet again? And you see, like rolling once again. Is that okay? The quality of the video, Jason, is that fine?
Yeah, it's really good. I know
Yeah.
there's a little lag, but it kind of slows it down.
Yeah.
We're able to see how they're moving.
Yeah,
These are
and
great activities.
you can imagine a kid playing in the, you know, in your home, and rolling. And you know, of course, with my experience, we see a lot of things, and I was so happy to do that. And with the gymnastic coach, we talk a lot, and we tried something to teach them a lot of things get out of that experience. Now we go on more specific goalkeeper stuff. So we were it was all about, you know, how is your body in space, how do you dive, what kind of control you have on your muscles. And you know, it was very fun and creative to watch that. After, it influenced a lot the training I have. Those are older, you know, they were 16, 17, okay, and they have done the same job. It was good for them too. Okay, it was different a little bit. Some of them are playing in NCAA right now, Division 1 and 2, and this one who is about to die was named twice, 3 times goalkeeper of the week. And there are good goalkeepers, but to be better, it's interesting to work on specific patterns like this. You see, it's so obvious, but it was all about, can you jump, can you turn, can you land in balance, and a lot of things like this. Can you once again, can you land and being okay, there was an adjustment here, but can you land and be in balance? You see, just drop and boom, like this, and it was it's not easy for some of them.
Yeah, and you know what? It's so interesting, and for those of you guys watching, thinking about like the way goalkeeper training in general, it's people think that they need to be specifically at a field, with just kind of, you visualize always being in front of a goal, right? And really, like, this is all these things that really make a great goalkeeper are all things that you mostly can do without a goal. I mean, this is just how you are as an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, you see the PowerPoint, Jason? That's okay?
Not yet. We're still seeing the video.
Okay, so I have to stop share every time.
Yeah, I don't know how to switch. There's a way
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, possibly. Is that good? Let's go PowerPoint. Okay, good. Okay, so yeah, basic coordination. Okay, and if with you guys at some point one day we work together, it's possible that I may do that. Yeah, 4 feet and everything.
Oh, if you're watching this and you're coming to some of our training sessions, or you'll be at our camps, you will be doing all kinds of stuff.
We'll see. Last summer I was working with a national team goalkeeper, U20 national team. She had made like 3 World Cup player of the game for once versus Germany. It was great. Had had an injury, surgery, need re-education. First training we met, we didn't know that much each other, and I've met her walking 4 feet on the ground, crawling, to see if the injury has changed her basic coordination. You see, so we won't talk about injury, but you have to pay. It's something that can happen. If there is a change in your basic coordination because of the injury. Like, you don't walk the same way. So, of course, you won't run the same way. You won't push the same way. You won't land the same way, of course,
Right. It's the coordination that people, like you guys too, your coordination changes. And like Vincent is pointing out, it can change because of an injury. It can change because you grew. I had a player grow 6 inches, in like 1 year. So your coordination changes. It can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, many things. So training example. So as we say, it won't be a question of do that. Okay. But once you spot like a weakness or a lot of weakness, I don't know. Okay. Be humble. It's really important. When you build an exercise for yourself, like for example, you go in front of a wall and in your backyard, you have to think at 3 things. Okay, space, time, and events. Okay, what kind of space you use, the distance you use, the time. The time is usually related to the quickness of the exercise. You will kick a strong ball or go at slow pace to like try to master things. Okay, and the events, like you kick a ball or you kick 3 balls, or you quick and you move and you kick the ball, So you play with those 3 things, and you can do everything. Actually, if you look at on every, anything online, on training, even basketball and everything, usually are based on those 3 things. The good coach, in my point of view, the good coach will know that, okay, with that goalkeeper, we will work on space because he has problem with the moving in space. Okay, we work on time. Time is more related to, is he able to do that quick, the right catch, right way at right time, as I meant. Events usually are related to a lot of things that can happen or no, the incertitude. So is he able to take the information or no? Is that okay, events can be I throw you the ball on your left, on the ground on your left for 10 times. So the event is clear, there is no incertitude. But if after that I'm in front of him and I say, okay, I will kick the ball. So suddenly the events is multiple. So I will kick the ball, but I have a partner, so it's 2v1 and everything, you know. So the events, it's all related to that. Yeah, space-time in event. I have a video, so I do that, and okay, there, and yeah, this one. Give me a second. Still have trouble to find my stuff. Go and share. Okay. Is that okay, Jason?
Yep.
Yep, looks good. Okay. So with this category, we talk about space, time, and events. Okay. So space, it's small space. Time, it was a slow pace to make them really getting the movement. It was diving on the side with the attacking of the ball, you know, attacking the ball in front of you. So not falling on your side, really attacking the ball. And the events was you have a ball in your hand and I throw a ball, you let your ball goes down and you catch the other one. Okay, that was the event. And he knows it was on the right side and then on the left. So there was not that much incertitude, but he has to concentrate on the trajectory of the ball and the shape of the hand. Okay, and of course attacking the ball. Okay, so there was that's an example. So it's very simple. You can do that at all level, and you change time, space, and events. Okay, can be a warm-up exercise. You can kick the ball with your feet. You can throw them with your hand. You can give no clue. You can, you know. So you change time, space, and events, and suddenly it became another exercise, depending on what you want to work. So once again, if you're catching while you dive a problem, that's a good exercise. You do that slowly. You need someone to catch the ball, or you can work in front of a wall with the hope that you have grass on the. But it's I definitely believe that when you want to train, you train. You can see in different countries, poor countries, sometimes they don't have the facility. They train on the hard ground and they train. They go. They don't have good balls. They don't have cones. They have nothing and they train. So yeah, sometimes we're very comfortable and we think we need the shirt and the good ball. Okay, guys, commitment means that if you want to do it, you do it. You find anything and you go with it. Another example will be this one. You see the space is totally different. Okay, it's wider space. So we work on the way they move. And the event was when you come to the orange disc, you take the set posture and I will kick a ball. So there was multiple kind of ball, and then you go on the sides, and I asked the kid to do a shuffle step. He didn't do it. And then from the yellow cone to the line, he do back paddle or crossover. And so it was more on how the keeper moves in his net. You see? So time, space, and events. You change that, and you can do that with professional goalkeepers. No problem. You just change time, space, and events. And that's one thing. And the last one was the higher level goalkeeper. So this one was quickness of movement, capacity of adaptation, and the ball was struck on the right side, but they don't know exactly where, and they were strong balls. Okay, it was very strong, stand up and need adaptation, being balanced. Don't anticipate too much. Okay, but there was a lot of incertitude in this one. You see, touch the date and then go. So that's a good exercise. Okay, everybody agree that's a good exercise for many reasons. But was that the good exercise for those girls? You know, because I can have picked that exercise on YouTube and do that like in the evening with my keepers. But if it's not what they need, okay, everybody will have fun. But if it's not what they need, we lose our time. Okay, if they're good at diving, if they are very quick, well, let's work on footwork, long pass, I don't know, you know. So that's really important to evaluate goalkeepers or evaluate yourself, and being able to build exercise that go directly on those weaknesses. Okay, and if one day you have no weakness at all, well, you need to continue to keep them up, you know, and it's an everlasting work. When you look at, okay, that's a point. When you're online, when you're on YouTube and you see professional goalkeeper trainers, usually they only put the cool stuff, you know, the eye dive and blah, blah, blah. But some of them, they put the entire training. I saw one of Manuel Neuer a few months ago, but you see that it's like almost boring, you know. They do a lot of training at slow pace, a lot of repetition like a musician. You know, it's a lot of repetition of things they master already, you know. And one thing a goalkeeper coach told me once, and I really like this, was actually Nuno Santos, that is the goalkeeper coach of Tottenham Hotspur right now. Is very, very, he put a lot of importance of the mastering the routine. And that's the point, you know. A lot of goalkeepers, especially guys, want to do high dives all training session, you know. I want to dive, blah, blah, blah. But if you're not mastering the routine, it will be a big problem. And during that workshop, Nuno Santos told us that yeah, it's definitely better to master the routine and work on difficulty save, like 30% of the session of routine and 30% of the session of more difficult stuff. Because a soccer game, even at higher level, like, I don't know, I don't have like I don't have precise data on it, but you know, let's say it's like 85% of the job will be routine. No, well, you will have like quite a big save to do sometime, depending of the game, but most of the time it's routine. So if you don't master the routine, well, we have a problem. So we come again to the same thing. Do you master the basic coordination? Do you master the non-transferable stuff? Do you master the way you move, the way you catch a simple ball? So if you're a goalkeeper and you do mistakes on simple things, well, try to work those simple things. Do you see the PowerPoint? No.
No, not yet.
Okay. I think I begin to get it.
But yeah, those are points. I like the master the routine. You know, especially like you just mentioned, and I'm sure we can find a lot of different data on that. But you're right. I mean, most of what you're doing is a fundamental routine thing. And if you master that, then you're covered. You don't have to worry about that. And then it's the other 10 or 15% where you need to, you know, you kind of make a special save, or you have a great reaction and you weren't something unexpected happens and you make a quick save. So those are those special moments that make all the highlight videos. But most of it really is the routine. It's just the routine.
Absolutely. And highlight videos are a cruel problem, you know, because if you see Neuer doing a great save, you have to check the percentage of action versus the great save you do. You know, it's really small.
Hey, one of my, not to take us away too much from wrapping up, you know, showing the rest of the PowerPoint wrapping. One of my favorite saves all time was Peter Schmeichel. I think it was a Champions League match where he was completely on his butt. Both of his legs were sprawled out, and his hands. So he just made a save, and he ended up completely on his butt. And then the shot came in again on a rebound, and he hopped off the ground, off his glutes and his hamstrings, and he still made a save. And so that wasn't routine at all, but everything he had done to be in that game was routine. I even think the first save he made was probably fairly standard, but he ended up in a tough position, and then he had to improvise and do something really special.
And the goalkeeper coach at the age of, you know, all before 15, 17, all the level under the top level, you know, our job is to make the goalkeeper master the routine, because higher goalkeeper coach level, their job is to make that the goalkeeper is able to perform like constantly, you know, with the same constants, and also do that weird, you know, amazing save, you know. So and that's usually a problem with the with coaches. You know, I am not perfect at all, but yeah, if you train your young goalkeepers are doing great save and you don't pay attention to the routine because it's more boring at some point, yeah, you have to make it fun. It's your responsibility to make it fun and work that. Go ahead. Yeah, one thing when you talk about training, you know, especially right now, this weird moment we're all at home, I'm very comfortable with the fact that we need to be introduced around those age 13, 10, 13 to video analysis, to look at soccer, just think about it, what is happening, having a structural way to think at the game or a moment of the game. And it's a good moment or a good point around those age to introduce, for example, the 4 moment of the game. When you attack, you defend, or you're in transition attack or transition to defend. Okay, because a lot of kids arrive at 14, 15, they've never heard about it. But it's a big problem for me, you know, because once again, we have a cruel dilemma, you know. When we train goalkeepers, we train them to make save, but during a game, we want them not to make save, you know. We want them to communicate, organize, not to have problem. Okay, we don't want a goalkeeper that is just good on his line, because okay, he's good, but it won't be a top level for sure. We want goalkeeper that avoid problems. So if you just train your goalkeeper to make save and never train them to understand how to not have save to make, how to avoid problem, well, we have a big problem. And if you start that at 15, 17 or 18, yeah, probably it will be hard to integrate that faster, you know, in your play. So 10, 13 years old, it's a good moment. So just look at a game and ask questions to your kid, to your athlete or yourself. You know, for example, what happened when we lose the ball, what your teammates needs to do, when they should do. We have responsibilities. Your coaches should know that. And can you help them with your voice, with your gesture, where you should be on the field? You know, look at professional game. Usually those goalkeepers have good habits, good. So when you see that the ball is at the midfield and they are very high in their box, try to understand why. Is that a mistake? Probably not. And what you try to do, probably defend the space behind the defense. So it's really important to look at a game, but also to start analyzing, start to have a structural, because when you're in your goal during a game, if you want to use those things, to use the capacity to analyze quickly, you need to train. You need to train. You cannot just start to do that during a game without any training. Video analysis introduction. So I just give you like a basic pattern of what you can do when you analyze. So first, the posture and position of the goalkeepers. Of course, I didn't mention it on my PowerPoint, but it's of course for the goalkeeper. Posture is the body. So if the ball is close to you, you need to be low, and if it's far from you, you need to be high. Position, horizontal, it's left, right, and vertical, high, low. You need, you know, depending on where is the ball. You need to have a capacity to quickly sort the problem. Okay, if you defend, so what is the priority? And if you have the ball, the capacity to see the option and scenario. Okay. So I just want to make a quick. We still have time, Jason?
Oh yeah, yes,
yeah?
Definitely.
Okay, I want to share something also. Won't be long. I'm starting to get what I have to do. Okay, good. We start here. Tack, tack, and share this. Okay. And yeah, so I can go full screen. Okay, so here it's just a video of goalkeeping save. Okay, so we do analysis with the simple methodology I give you. So here at this moment, for example, the goalkeeper was the posture, the body, how it is. She's tall. She don't need to be low on the ground, and the position. She's high in her box because definitely we see that there was a problem with the defense. Probably the defense had the ball and it was taken away by the red girl. So there is a counterattack. So is the goalkeeper at the right place? She was high. It's not. There is no time anymore to go back on the field. The girl is close, and she's in good area to do the 1v1. So at every moment, there is always something to say. We're at home, right, with my kid, and at this moment, for example, position of the posture of the keeper, so that the body is laying on the ground. You see how she attacked the ball, and she had made the right decision of movement. Before she didn't get too low in her net, because she understands that it was a 1v1, so she decided to attack the girl as soon as she pushed the ball, and then she went on the ball on time. So I will try to find you another example.
Yeah, and I think in that situation, a lot of times too, we see goalkeepers unsure and kind of trying to drop off, right? That's a really good example of how she understood what her responsibility was. You know, she read the situation because she already knew the main points of what you should be looking for. So she was very confident in how she came out. I like that. It was good.
So that's the same if you do a video analysis of this one. So the posture, she's high, the ball is not close to her. It's a 1v1 situation, but it's not the time for her to attack, because she's the girl with the ball is too far. She can, chip her. And what is the problem right now? The problem is the girl with the ball, so she needs to focus on it. And maybe there are other girls on her right side, on her other adversary on the right side. She needs to pay attention. So if she needs to communicate something, she still have the time to do it. So when you make video analysis, it's important to set the posture, the position, and also what is the priority. The priority is cover the goal, cover the girl who has the ball, and see if you can communicate things to the girl around, to your defense, okay, if there is a problem in the marker. Okay. So the girl is coming closer. You see how her posture, she's going down a little bit more, and we see a defender coming on the left. So probably she decided to stay on her goal because there was a possibility of a sender, okay? And because if she go in 1v1, she will totally abandon the goal. So she decided to stay. At this moment, the ball is too far on the side, so the angle are close for the striker. So it's a good idea to stay. As you see, the posture is lower now. She's on her feet because the shot is imminent. So when you do video analysis, you have to say, okay, now the shot will happen. So it's not time for communication anymore. So don't lose your time to try to say anything. Focus on the ball. So is the posture okay? When we look at the distance with the ball, yes, she's low. The horizontal position, she needs not to be at her post because the ball is not, on the corner line. So she needs to be, at that kind of distance of the post, on the ball line, we call between the middle of the goal and the ball here. So it's a good thing that she's not close to the post, and also it's not a good thing if she was in the middle of the goal. So the position is good, the posture is good. The vertical position, as we say, it was hard for her to go in 1v1 situation. So on vertical line, she decided to stay, which probably was a good idea. And so when the shot comes, she was quick because she was on her feet. She was not moving. She was not in transition. And so she was really ready to be quick, and make the save. Same thing here. Then here she decided that the ball was fast in the box, and she had the cover in the center. Probably she take the information. So now she's not set, but there is no shot that is about to come right now. So it's okay if she's in movement, okay, as long as she arrived before the girl, okay, or in the same moment. Okay, let's go back to the PowerPoint. It won't be long. I almost
No, yeah, and while you're transitioning into that for everybody watching, there you can kind of see, obviously very clear with video. So it's a good thing to analyze yourself if you're a goalkeeper, and for the parents out there watching, and coaches, obviously anyone, we can film our goalkeeper. I mean, with your phone, iPad. I mean, you don't, I even recommend just getting an inexpensive camera online, and there's different reasons why you might want to use a camera versus a special camera versus just your phone. But the point is you can isolate these videos and show your goalkeeper. So if I'm a young goalkeeper, I'm going to ask somebody to film me, and it doesn't even have to be the whole game, but parts of the game if possible, and if, of course, the best thing would be that we would have a game, right? We would have the whole game, because then you can see all of the context. Like you can see where your defenders were and where the ball is. But even if you can't, and you can just have a camera pointing at you and just watching what you do in your defensive third, very valuable here, as you can see, for your own self-awareness and evaluation.
Yeah, as we say, video don't lie. Okay, so video don't lie. So you can see a lot of things that you're not aware of it in front of a video. It's great tool. And so we're almost at the end now. So Jason asked me, what can I do? What can they do if they're on their own, which is quite the case of a lot of people right now. So when you're a goalkeeper, you have to find a wall somewhere. I'll build one, I say, no, but you have to find a wall. Wall is really, really important when you try. Just one soccer ball is good as long as you have a wall, because for goalkeeper it's great, for players too, but goalkeeper it's really interesting. You can do a lot of things in front of a wall. I will show you in a minute. No coach, no partner, trust yourself. What I mean by that is a lot of kids say, well, I have nobody to train with. If you have the commitment, once again, usually you have the energy to do that by yourself, but trust yourself. Of course you're young. Of course you don't know what are your weakness maybe, but you have an idea of it. You can have an idea that, you're weak with your arm, you're weak with a high ball, you're weak, maybe you have a weaker foot, which could be totally normal. So work on it. Okay, work on it. It's a good time for that. Okay. So I just went on YouTube and go for a few examples, and just clicking on it will give you. You tell me, Jason, if it's okay. It's made the switch.
No, we still see the slide. Even though we saw a video open, it's kind of hidden somewhere. Maybe.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. I hope it won't be too long.
No, it's totally fine. I mean, we definitely want to cover all this information, and yeah, that's great.
Okay, so you see that. So it's it's a random. I don't know that guy. It's a random, but I think that what he's doing is great. And he's. I can fast forward a little bit the video. He's doing stuff, all his own, like this shuffle step. After that, he's doing basic stuff behind a wall, in front of a wall. It's if you have a problem with kicking volley, you can kick volley in front of a goal. Like this is great stuff. You see that, Jason, right? And you see all those videos are the same for wall juggling I had. Okay. Well, actually, I won't be able to. I think it will be a bit longer to switch video every time.
Yeah. Well, what I can do is I can just take these links and put them with our video. So if you that are watching this, you're going to be, I'm sure at this point, you'll either be on our YouTube channel or you'll be on our website.
Yeah.
And so I'll have all this in the description and also, on our webpage. So these are the videos that Vincent recommends. And there's other ones. I mean, you're going to find, there's so much information out there now with the internet. I mean, it's great.
So I had like individual GK trailing, so anything that can be great to work on your own. Wall juggling with balls, agility ladder. If you don't have ladder, draw one on the floor, use anything. Wall passing drills, like it's also good for players, but for goalkeepers, footwork is really important, and training with medicine ball. Medicine ball, as we say, I really like that because it works functionally your body with the muscle chain. And medicine ball is heavy, and we can say, well, a soccer ball is not that heavy, but it was shown, we know that in physics, something, when it's standing still, like a soccer ball, and when it's traveling fast in space, when you catch it, the weight of that same soccer ball is higher. So if it's 500 gram, when it comes in your hand, could be 2 kilograms, because of the speed. We know that with the speed, the weight of the structure goes higher. So working with a medicine ball helps you to work your hand the way you catch the ball when it's a big shot. So working with medicine ball, for example, when someone throws it at you, if you're able to keep it, we will see that in a few minutes. If you're able to keep it in your hand, very good. It means that stronger shot during a game will be easier to catch instead of just deviating them. You see, and that's a start of mastering the routine, because once again the routines change with the time. So of course, when you're 10 years old, a strong kick from your father, it's hard stuff. But when you're 18, strong kick from your father, it should be routine. Especially if it's on you, should be routine. So when you train with a medicine ball, it's great stuff. Plus, when you train in front of your wall, if you throw the medicine ball in front of a wall, that's exactly the video I shared with you on YouTube. You see the guy, it's not a goalkeeper, but he's doing a lot of movement with the medicine ball that are very useful for goalkeepers. Throwing up on the air, catching it, throwing to a wall, turning like this. Really interesting to work the muscle chains and be more effective as a goalkeeper, quicker and stronger, and so you catch more balls instead of deviating them in corner, for example. Training with, Jason, you asked me also how parents can support their goalkeeper. I don't want to lecture anyone, okay, but definitely as coach, I'm parent also, but as coach, we see parents, and yes, it happens in the past that I had great goalkeepers, and suddenly everything goes away, and because we lost that great athlete because of the dynamic at home. And I don't want to point anything, it happens, any scenario can happen. So parents, the way you help your athlete is to give them a good environment. And so this figure, helps to see the stuff, and sometimes we don't know if we are good, bad. I don't know. There is no white or black. It's all gray. So the point is try to give a good environment, to the kid. Also, it's always a good thing to learn to kick and throw a ball. For some of them, for some people, it's great, it's doing well. But throwing a ball with your hand is good. But if your kid is 13, 14 years old, you have to strike it with your feet for sure, because that would be boring a little bit. And if you're at home right now and you don't have the choice to stay home or go to the park, with the distance and everything, learn to kick and throw a ball is a good time for that too, for parents. Help your kid to find safe place to train. It's weird to say sometimes, but it's depending on where we are, it's not that easy, depending of the traffic, of the people and everything. Help your kid to have access to resources. So have a membership in the United Soccer Coach, or help them to make research online. It's not that easy sometimes. And try to have contact with coaches and everything. Equipment. So definitely it's not a question of equipment. Okay, I'm not that kind of coach. If you have a soccer ball, some tennis ball, a rope, whatever the rope it is, 2-3 sticks could be the broom, and eventually a medicine ball, which in Canada it's like $20-25. So probably in US it's like 16, 17, I don't know, 18 maybe. So it's not that big deal, but and it's hard to tell. You need to have that weight for that age, but I say that 6-8 pounds around the age of 13, 14. If you throw like this slowly and you train for the core strength in front of a wall, like the video YouTube will show, it's okay, it's good. So The last thing I want to show you, and it's the last, is a video I took few days ago in the local park here. It was the park of the school of my daughter. And I've done that with one of the goalkeeper who is here too. She played in CAA. And where is that? Okay, this one. And then I'm sorry for, there is a little bit, it won't be long. Screen, share. Okay. Yeah, the video is moving a little bit because my daughter is filming, because all the coronavirus stuff and everything. And my tripod broke, and I was so he was broken. I had no time to find one, so my daughter was filming, and it was freezing cold. So she's moving a little bit. So sorry for that, Jason. You tell me if it's still okay. You see the video, Jason?
Yep. Yeah, we can see it. Perfect.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So here we go. So basic things you can do in your park, with your kid. Okay, notice when she do the double step, the way the arms are moving. It's really important for balance. It's asymmetric. It's basic coordination, as we say. She should master it. There is always ways to do that. Straight back, it's really important. Tack, tack, tack. And then she's rail on her feet and very quick. So at the end of the tennis ball, you see I have no cones, just tennis ball, boom. And then she's at the end of the double step, she's on their feet set, straight back, okay, and in front of her feet, ready to make the save. And so the ball, top. And you see she readjusts the posture, just after the save, she readjusts the posture to have a great, nice and neat posture, balance. And that's good habits to have, not throwing the ball, like she needs to throw the ball the good way to me, and coming back as a goalkeeper, not turning the back, not walking. At the end, she comes back on her feet. Once again, double step, well on her feet, get the ball, nice posture, come back. You see, set again. Okay, come back, set again, and come back the position. And once again, double step. You see, and that work, it's all day long, even with professional, even with 8 years old, we just pay attention to different kind of things. But it's very simple, and you need to master, it's mastering the routine. You see the way she moves on the side when the ball is a little bit on the side. So now I've done, lateral moving. You see the arms moving, well on her feet, catch the ball. You see the position after the catching. She make a good secure save. High balls, talk. Once again, at the end, she have a nice secure position, balance. She don't catch the ball like and throw it to me like weirdly. Once again, catch, good release. So we change the pattern of the tennis ball, so it's easy to imagine there is a soccer goal behind, and we just have the event, time, and space stuff. And voila, we just design a small exercise. You see the way she give me the ball. Okay, it's straight back all the time. Come back on the side, set on the feet, good catch, and she changed the arm. So if you have a weakness with the throwing with your arm, you're stronger with the right, or you're weaker with the left, well, you work both. You see, she worked the left here and then the right here. So now I just changed a little bit the exercise. She made a triangle like a goalkeeper can do, in the soccer goal. And I told her, like, look at me. And when you see that I'm about to throw the ball, when my arms are moving, you stop. So now she needs to look at me. Okay, she needs to pay attention to me. So it's more game related, but she's still doing routine stuff. Okay, you see the footwork. She made set. Oh, look at me, make the save. So she had to be quick on her feet. So once again, she go on the other side. Be creative. Be creative. There is no truth. There is there is no truth behind that. It's just basic stuff, basic philosophy. Look at me. When I'm moving, you stop, clack, make the save. And after the save, she secured the position. You see the little step on the side. That's great. So you take two stick, whatever the stick, okay, and you do a little movement of goalkeeper. It's easy to imagine the goalkeeper during a game doing this, you see? Okay, the ball is moving, and then she's going on the step, doing the save, moving on the side, quick shuffle step. She don't cross the legs. We don't cross the leg when it's short movement like this. So once again, talk set, 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 and save. You see, mastering the routine, really easy to do. You don't need to be a specialist in goalkeeping training to do that. Okay, straight back, there we work a little bit on reflex. Okay, so we modify the time and the events. There is a little bit of uncertainty and it's a little bit quicker, and eye coordination. And for the rest, straight back, rhythm of the step, frequency of the step, and then she needs to be well in her position. Now she just have one ball, and she throw with the right and catch with the left, and now with the left and catch with the right. You see? So it's very simple thing, but we work basics. In the back, turn, and reflex. So now we had events, more uncertainty, okay? And we can, with the time, I can ask her to be faster if I want, no problem. I can, with the space, I can be, with more distance, take a soccer ball and kick the ball as hard as I can. We work on balance, and it's a broken soccer ball. Okay, it's always good to keep a broken soccer ball to do some balance stuff. It's quite hard to do with that kind. It has a lot of practice. And with the tennis ball, we work on an eye coordination. Balance with goalkeeper is really important because it's not a question of being balanced on our feet. It's also a question of being balanced when you're in the air, when you want to catch a ball, when you jump. And so working on balance, it's great. Being in balance also when we run, when we change direction. And so it helps us to be able to make a good save. Once again, 3 tennis ball, you see the soccer goal and the field was terrible. So doesn't matter if you're committed, you train. And once again, we just designed a pattern. With the 3 tennis ball, I just thought about an action. For example, the ball is high and suddenly the team lose the ball, go on the side and recover the ball because the ball goes back on the front and then come back on the side and make the save. And we can do that at full speed with the kick goes everywhere. There with the rope. Rope is good for coordination and give some clue of what you need to achieve. Plus, it's you won't harm you with the rope. If you fall on a rope, it's fine. So with kids, it's good. So there I was just kicking a ball and ask her to grab the ball before the line. So we talk about attacking the ball, being quick on the feet, and staying in balance. Because when you catch the ball, you need to be in balance. Or if you jump, you need to jump or dive in the right direction. So there, be quick, catch the ball. She decided to go on the ground. I didn't say anything about it, but she was comfortable with it. There, I asked her, okay, I told her, look, it's a very slow ball, stay on your feet. Okay, but you see straight back. You see the back, always straight, really important to have power. If your back it's curved, is like have a lack of tonus, you will not be able to give power to your body. But ask any sports, they would tell you the same. Same thing, get the ball before the rope. So there is a timing, frequency, rhythm of we work all of kind of things. Diving, so get the ball in front of the head and the head in front of the hips. So not diving on the side, but diving in front, attacking the ball, really important. Plus, it's more safe when you do a 1v1 like this. When you do a 1v1 and the attacker come and strike the ball, you're safe here. And if the ball is close to your face or the ball is here, it means that your face has no cover. So that's safe. That's a safe technique. And you see the legs where I will show you that. Okay, you see the legs are straight. They are like this, means that all the power she gave were straightforward. Okay, I don't want to see legs go upwards like this. You lose power, you lose efficiency. Same thing, be creative, attacking the ball, if there is a center in your 6-yard box, attacking the ball like this, punch the ball. Is that still okay, Jason?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's really cool.
Medicine ball. I'm a big fan of medicine ball or elastic, working with elastics. But working with elastics means usually working at home with, you need to attach the elastic somewhere. So it's less convenient sometimes for a soccer field, but medicine ball. As we say, two really important things matter with medicine ball. The first thing is it learns you to coordinate the strength of your body, the motricity. Because if you catch the medicine ball only with your hand, with the strength of your hand, you will fail. You need to catch a ball with all your body, with your abs, with your arms, with everything, the straight back and everything. You need to be supple with your hands and arms, but yet strong. So medicine ball teaches that. The other thing is it teaches you to catch balls that are coming strong at you, because you can do the try that at home. And I was paramedic in the past, so when a car runs, drive at, you're at 50 miles an hour and 100 miles an hour, it's not the same weight when there is an impact. Okay, speed increase the weight of the whatever of the thing. So soccer ball is definitely weight more. It's heavier when it's a big shot. So you need to have strong hands. So medicine ball, I really like that. Simple things: three tennis balls, go in front and catch the ball. So I asked her to try to show us what it is to have weak hands, and she did it perfectly. She hit her nose with it, and so that's it. You can look at this again, and she comes, and you see, if you're not strong, the medicine ball will pass through. By the way, this one is an 8-pound medicine ball.
Okay. Wow.
So once again, I asked her to. You see, if she's weak, if she don't pay attention, the ball will pass through. Okay, same thing here, I think. You see, it will happen. You will see that with the kids, that the kind of shape. You see the back, the round back, we have the impression that the ball is heavy, but when you train with medicine ball, your objective is to make us think that the ball is not heavy. It's the same as a soccer ball. So you need to coordinate your muscles. You need to be strong. Okay, it's really, really important. And it teaches you that. It teaches you to be strong behind the ball, yet supple. Okay. So I asked her to show. No, okay, that's this one. she gave us the big deal. Okay, same thing with basket catch. We don't want to see the hand goes down like this. And I asked her to do. I think the correction I asked her. You see, like this. Okay. Actually, she was surprised of it. She was not strong as she is usually, but the ball passed through. She was surprised of it. So it told us, it teaches us a lot of great things. So correction, I've made will be the end of it. So I asked her to show us now, like the ball was not a medicine ball. Okay, so you see, she make the catch like top, and even there it could be better. Okay, but I give her a lot of. You see the basket catch, how easy it is. She contract her muscle. All her body is working right now. See, boom, and we don't have the impression that it's a medicine ball. Okay, one thing here, for diving, and medicine ball are good at that too. When we dive with young kids, or even sometimes young keeper or older keeper, they have the tendency to put the knee first, then the hip, and then the shoulder, which is not good. Because usually it may that you're not used to pushing the pushing, like the right leg in that case, because your knee goes directly to the ground. So it's hard after that to teach you to push in your leg, because you have wrong habits on basic coordinative pattern. Once again, I think I just slow-mo a little bit here. Knee and shoulder. So it's not a good thing. Plus, you see, she dives on her side. We want to attack the ball, but she was strong with her arm. So I asked her to do it better, and then you see, first she attacked the ball. She's more in diagonal, and then the body fall more on the side. You see, tuck it, tuck. Okay, so that's better. So the consequences of that is that when she catch the ball here, you see the knee is still not on the ground. So if she want to push, she can push. Okay, that's the big part of it. Okay, you need to keep your knee available as long as possible. Once again, talk. She catch the ball and see if the ball was higher or more distant, she can push, because you see the knee is clearly still available instead of being in the direction of the ground. And there I ask her to catch the ball like if it was a normal ball. So the body is attacking. We don't have the impression that the ball is really heavy. She's definitely controlling and doing. So you can train. You can train like this. You can train like this by cutting a movement very slowly with the soccer ball, and then doing that. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's
So,
a great breakdown. And for those of you guys, I know we'll be training with medicine balls a lot now. Vincent's working with Rising Stars, so all of our players, people, you're going to get information from him a lot. I think it's so unique it was so good how she was able to, when you told her the difference between making mistakes with the medicine ball and then making it look like it was just a soccer ball. Like you said, she's engaging her core. Posture was good. And then the point you made about the knee hip when they're falling to their side, I do see that a lot where, goalkeepers are basically going to the ground very early on their dives. And like you just pointed out, guys, when you watch this, I'm learning as Vincent's sharing this with us, but how he showed you how you keep your knee available and your posture correct off that knee. So now you can explode, you can dive further. If you go to the ground quickly, you're committing to being on the ground, and there's really not a lot else you can do after that. So great points.
yeah, but that was it. That was it for me.
Well, thank you, Vincent. I've took some notes here. I'm going to go find a few videos. I'm going to look for my Peter Schmeichel video. I'm going to look at the Manuel Neuer video that you were talking about.
Well, there are a lot of them.
And I'll find some of those guys and I'll put them here with this video. So for our goalkeepers out there and our families, parents, coaches, and kids, this will all be obviously on our website for you guys. So hopefully you're enjoying this, you're learning, and you're training better and training smarter. Vincent, is there any final, my takeaways are, number one was commitment. I think that's the key here. Obviously look, if you're being forced to go out and do this, it's not for you. Like if you don't enjoy being a goalkeeper, if you're, it's okay to play for participation, but for those of you that are looking to become great, the kids that we work with that want to go to college, some of the people who, would like to play, who knows, you could play professionally someday. You have to have that commitment. No one can force you to do this. At some point, it won't work. No matter how good you were, at some point, whether it's when you're 14 or 18 or 20, there's going to be a point where your heart isn't in it anymore. And so I think it's really important for everyone out here to assess your commitment level to this. If you are committed, you will find a way. Just like Vincent was saying, there's no excuse. You see the field he was training on, that goalkeeper is one of the best goalkeepers in the U.S. in college soccer right now. She is going out training in freezing cold weather. She's training on a very basic field. It's not glamorous. This is just the stuff you guys need to do. And it's not always going to be exciting or make the best highlight video. But this is exactly where you need to master the routine, and you need to take these fundamentals, and then you need to continue to work on them until you've perfected them.
Yeah, definitely commitment. And being patient most of the time.
Yeah, stay positive, be patient. Vincent, thank you so much for your time here. We greatly appreciate this. Everybody out there, I hope you're liking the resources. Email me if you have questions. We're really working on building up our resource page, which as of the filming of this is kind of behind the scenes, but hopefully some of you are now watching these videos on our new website and really enjoying that. So feel free to contact us if you have questions. Vincent will be with us in the United States. He and I have talked, and we are going to have some camps and clinics that we put on, and that we're also going to come to some of your clubs. So you will see us. So We'll put that out there to you individually and to your clubs, and hopefully we can you can come meet us. You can get a chance to work with Vincent and learn more from him and his philosophy. But Vincent, thank you again so much. Have a great rest of your weekend. We sincerely appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much. And look, see you soon very well, and have a good evening.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you out here after we get back to soccer again, and we'll get you down here to the U.S. Thank you again, Vincent. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You
Thank
too.
everybody for joining us. Vincent, thank you again. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.